last time, we got this running. There's a problem. This motorcycle sat on the side of a house for 26 years. So I was put to the test to see if I could rebuild it in less than 2 weeks. I stripped the bike of all of its parts, gave it a really good clean, all while having no experience on how to work on motorcycles. We ran into a few major problems, but nothing shy to get it to start. Now, she's almost back to new. Last time with the carburetor, we opened up this screw all the way. That's not gonna fix our issue. Under this little rubber cover right here, there's a little nut. If we loosen that nut, that is then going to tighten the pull on the throttle, and it is going to open the carburetor just a little bit more. The reason how I know the bike is suffering from lack of air in the engine is because every single time that we open up the throttle, the bike roars higher. So now the next thing to check is the tachometer. If we start it and we rev it, the tachometer doesn't even move at all. First I can check it to see if it spins, and if it does spin, then we can probably just replace the tachometer, the actual point, and not this gear. So we're gonna start her up and we're gonna see if this rotates, and if this rotates, then we're good. We just need to find a new way to attach it. Definitely already knew that there was a problem, so I need to figure out how to solve that problem. The overall best solution that I could think of was to take apart the tachometer and to replace the internals. First, we had to disassemble it, and sadly, there was no real bolt-on, bolt-off job. So we had to do a lot of cutting and prying in order to get it off, and this, in turn, broke the outer casting. After getting the new tachometer in, one that actually had threads on the bottom bit, I took it and we started to install it onto the new one. With this new tachometer bit, one of the things that I noticed is it was a little different than the other one. You would spin it, and it would go back very slow. But at least it works. With the new tachometer piece installed, we started to rebuild the entire thing. And as you can see, the plastic doesn't line up because bits of it are broken. So I took some 3D printer PLA plastic and a soldering iron, and I started to melt it together. At first it wasn't the prettiest, so we got a file to try and clean it up. We filled in some of the other holes, and we creased it down with the soldering iron again to make it look a lot better. We installed it back onto the motorcycle, and our tachometer was rebuilt again. She was threaded in nicely, and it actually worked. Very slow, but the tachometer works. The tachometer works, so that's really good. Basically, the only thing that we need left on this bike is the registration and the title, new tires, and I honestly think that that's about it. Maybe we'll fix this bolt right here. I don't know if we'll fix that bolt. We'll definitely clean up some of the rust, and we'll definitely clean up the bike another time, but she's all running. Okay, so I should have done this a lot sooner, but I just finished with the Utah State Tax Commission. I just gave them all the paperwork for the bike because the bike had no paperwork on it. Today is June 6th. I should have done this about 3 months ago because I would probably be riding the bike by now. I should have done this a long time ago. So now that we have the bike actually running, we need to get the tires replaced because the tires are beyond trashed. They're not in the world's worst condition, but taking a look at it, you've got all of this dry rot, and that's bad, and then there's not so much dry rot on this. There's a little bit of cracking over here. Not a whole ton of problems on it. But the front tire is our main problem. So we're just doing as much work as we can to make it as safe as humanly possible. And I've never replaced a motorcycle tire before because I've never done anything on a motorcycle. So let's make the bike work. This is where things start to get a little tedious. As you can see, the bike is right now being hoisted by 2 car jacks on the stands. Getting out the rear wheel was pretty simple, and as a former bicycle mechanic, I was able to check the wheel bearings and they felt pretty good. We readjusted the bike and we got it on the rear axle so that I could then start installing the next part, which was a front fork lock. This helps lock the bike in the event that you're ever going to park it and don't want it to get stolen. I then removed the bottom skid plate so that we could get a better place to place one of the jacks so that we can then get the front wheel off. This one was a little bit trickier for some weird reason, but eventually we got it all off. And the tires were soon to actually get replaced. So now we've got both of the tires off of the bike, which is mildly terrifying. And it is right now being held up by 3 points. 2 car jacks and a kickstand. This is so stupid. New tires and tubes, got them from Revzilla. We've got the old tires down there. And we're dropping them off to get them done. So, then the bike is soon to be on the road again. Yeah, not much else. Bye-bye. After dropping off the wheels and tires, we went back and started to clean off the grime and sludge from the underside of the bike. Very shortly after, the wheels were done, so I went back, got them, and we started to put them on the bike. We then took the bike off of the jack stands to get the bike on its wheels for the first time in 26 years. And there's one thing about the bike that I've been neglecting to do. The thing that I'm talking about that I'm not doing that I should be doing is taking more time and being a little bit more cautious. I accidentally broke the speedometer cable. This connects to the front tire right there, and this little piece right here just snapped off. And that is the other cap end to this right here. And it's the same piece that goes right up in here on that to connect to the speedometer as well as the tachometer. I need a new exhaust gasket. I'm going to get a new air intake filter for it. I'm going to get a new front fork lock. I might get a new horn. I'm still debating on that, but the biggest thing that I need to get now is a speedometer cable, and I don't know how hard that's going to be to find. So the biggest thing that I'm learning on this bike is take your time. Oh, I forgot. I need a new seat. Bad. Oh, that's like really bad. So we need a new seat cover. Let's wash the bike. With everything coming together, the last thing that the bike really needed was a really good wash. So we did that. We brought it back into the garage and we started to work on a seat and a new air intake. We first pulled off the seat, then we removed the side panel to the motorcycle, and then we removed the old air box so that we could get the new air intake in. Then it was with the cover back on, and then onto the seat. We removed the passenger strap, and we removed the old cover. The new cover holds onto the teeth that are right now sticking out the side of the seat. We pressed those on, got rid of some of the slack, got the new passenger's belt on, and it was all done. So, working on the bike, we had a few of those stripped. We had 2 of the holes that were stripped that held on the exhaust frame cover, this thing, and I've been trying to tap them. It doesn't quite seem to be working how it should be. This one right here got tapped and it looks like it worked, but then these 2 are just not working at all. So I am going to break out the welder and we are just going to plug those holes and hopefully that fixes something. Let's break out the welder. Welding done. We tried to tap it. It didn't tap. It's not tapping, and I don't know why it's not, but it's just drilling a hole and it's not tapping. So we're gonna do what I do best, and it's ruin things to fix things. We've got a handful of nuts right here with corresponding bolts. So what we're gonna do is we are going to take the exhaust. So we're gonna take off all of these little studs right here where they used to be. We're gonna flatten them out, and then we're gonna weld the new nuts on, and hopefully this works, because if it doesn't, I'm just gonna ruin this poor exhaust even more. So let's hope it works. By this point, I thought the crazy parts were done. They weren't. So I ground off the old studs, welded on some new nuts, gave it a quick spray paint job, and I installed the new exhaust gasket while I was at it, and now the bike is starting to look almost brand new.
So the motorcycle is officially rebuilt. We have a new seat on, we fixed the tachometer, we got a new air intake and new tires. Now there's only one thing left to do, and that is to take the motorcycle for its first ride. But that is gonna have to wait till next time. So subscribe, and we'll see you in the next adventure. Cheers!